back up. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Good. It started?
Yeah, it started. Let me just get it in pan. I can't. I'm gonna stop it right here.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, it's perfect. Perfect. It's 23 inches, so.
All right, we can just rock out. Come. All right, Shalom. We'd like to give praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the elect brothers throughout the four corners of the earth. Down here in Atlanta with the brother Mahar, fellowshipping through the spirit. The brother brought us to this Martin Luther King thing at Morehouse where he went. And, we about to just bring out some edification on this and a couple of other monuments that's in the town. Basically, he was set up by the elites, to pacify our people. They got this statue, and people worship this statue. You know what I'm saying? And they bow down to it, not necessarily physically, but they bow down to it, mentally and spiritually. And that's why he got it on a high pedestal. You know what I'm saying? But give me Leviticus 26:1. Bible Kashah.
This is Leviticus, the 26th chapter and the first verse. Ye shall make you no idols nor graven image.
Yeah, so what? That's an idol, right? And that's a graven image, right? When you check it out. So it says what? You shall make you no idols nor graven images. Read on.
Neither rear you up a standing image.
Right. Neither rear you up any standing. And guess what? That's a standing image, man. Read on.
Neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land.
Yeah, read on.
To bow down unto it.
Yeah, to bow down unto it. A lot of people will bow down to this statue mentally and spiritually. And that also what? That also cuts Islam. Because Islam they say what? Abraham and Ishmael built the cobblestone. Right. Which is what? Pure bullshit. Because according to the Torah, the Lord clearly told Abraham and also the rest of the descendants of Israel, the children of the Most High, it's the law, not to build any image of standing stone in your land to actually what? To bow down to it, man. So they got this here to actually for what? The cause of our people, what? To pacify them and also to indoctrinate them, man.
That's right.
That's right.
It says, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your power.
Right, now give me Isaiah 9:16, Bible Kashah. Y'all brothers have got yeah, man, so, this nigga was off, man, Yeah.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 16.
Right.
It says, for the leaders of this people caused them to err.
Right, and who's the leaders of this people? Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, T.D. Jakes. You know what I'm saying? For the leaders of this people caused them to err, man. Meaning to go astray, to error, to go off, man. Yeah, man, these are leaders of our people, man. You should have Nate up there. You know what I'm saying?
Johanna.
Because they all
Azar.
Yeah.
Alizé.
The leaders of this people cause them to err. Read on.
It says, and they that are led of them are destroyed.
Yeah, and they that are led of them are destroyed, man. And guess what? When our people was practicing segregation, we was more together.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because when we was practicing segregation, we wasn't really killing each other on the level we doing now.
Right.
We wasn't stabbing each other in the back. But as soon as our people got under integration, that's when all the hell and destruction came. That's why I said they that are led of them are destroyed, man. You follow these women, you're going to be destroyed. You follow these preachers, these wicked-ass so-called preachers and pastors, you wacky-tacky Christians, you're going to be destroyed, man. That's why I said they that are led of them are destroyed. And this damn devil, Martin Luther King, you know what I mean? I think his real name was Michael Smith. Something like and they named him behind Martin Luther from England.
If I may, that's like a stage name that he had, man. So if you look at Hollywood, with them like them actors, entertainers, and all that. Matter of fact, like the dude, Fred Sanford. His real name was John Sanford, something like that. You know. So like they give him these stage names. Yeah, they give him these.
They all got stage names.
So that's the same thing with this dude. Why? Because he was set up by the elite to serve a purpose, man. To further keep our people under that vibration.
And that's why and they do that also to prevent research.
That's right.
Because to prevent you from digging up shit on them. So they throw them under a stage name. Because if you try to research them off of that stage name, you won't get nothing. Nothing won't pop up.
I got a precept. This is Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation I desire.
Right.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day passes the shaft, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Right. So gather together meaning what? Integrate. You know, segregate, but integrate amongst each other, not with the other nations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like this dude was talking about, and that actually what destroyed our people. That's why at the end he told Harry Belafonte, I feel as though I led my people into a burning building. You know what I'm saying? Because what? He was bought and paid for, man. You know?
Yeah. All right, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 14. It says, let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. And that's why he said that he thought that he led his people into, like, basically to a burning building, man, burning bushes. You know? Because he was blind, and then once he, you know, you sell out to these elites and all that, they give you some type of information on the left-hand side. You know? So you just leading your people down that path of destruction, man.
Right.
You know? And he was pushing what? He was pushing that heavy come together, turn the other cheek and all that shit. You know, he was talking that turn the other cheek to what? His enemy, man. Was Esau's the enemy of who? The Israelites, man. All right? Our people, man. And that's why they got us so jacked up in the head that when something happens, the people be on the tip like they gonna revolt and all that. Then they shut a nigga up. Yo, go calm them niggas down.
Pacify them. You know, that's what Al Sharpton was for.
Exactly.
You know, and Jesse Jackson set up Martin, and Farrakhan set up Malcolm.
That's right.
Malcolm's daughter came out talking about how Farrakhan had killed the father, man.
That's right.
And they silenced him, man.
That's right.
You know, so they always use the one closest by you to take you out. Diddy set up Biggie, and Suge Knight set up Puff, man. You know what I'm saying? So they always use a closer inner circle.
They like the one that's closest to you.
Yeah, but guess what? That's heavy though. That's heavy though, because the first murder recorded in the Bible was what? Two brothers. So it's always easy. That's why it'd be easy for these detectives to solve the crime and all that. Because the first thing they look into is what? Your family.
Who you know.
Who was the closest to you. They're going to check the husband out first. As soon as the wife, if it's a wife that's dead, they're going straight to the husband. He's suspect number one. Then they're going to like triple it down. Who was she hanging out with and all of that. And even in the game on that song, Letter to the King, he said, I wonder why Jesse Jackson ain't catch him as soon as his body dropped. Will he give me the answer? Nigga, probably not. So even a bonehead nigga like Game, you know, he knows that Jesse Jackson had eventually set up Martin Luther.
That's right.
And then, matter of fact, after this, how you doing?
Going up about film. All right, can we cut the film off and continue to if you don't mind, how you doing, brother? Your name, come on.
Yeah, I use it for filming.
Oh, okay. No, we from out of town, so yeah, we're from Jersey.
We just wanted to edify here.
Yeah, about like different Martin Luther went to here, so it's just a monument. The guard let us in. She didn't say we could film though, but she said we can check it out and just do something with it.
Can you give us mercy, like a grace period of like 10 minutes and we'll be out?
Man, honestly, I mean, I got supervisors. I got calls. They got
Let's start. We got to start.
So that's so much about protecting, and then we don't even know.
First thing she should have told you guys to do, go to our place called the Welcome Center. Get permission from them, and they will call him.
Oh, sorry for being out of order. We didn't know.
Call campus supervisor, campus officer. They told we need everybody over there because we have I guess the point here right now. We don't even allow the media. We don't allow.
No, we can't. We were like a more minutes.
We'll close out. We'll shut down the field. We'll just close it out. Thanks. Next time, go through the protocol.
Yeah, go through the protocol.
Okay. Because we actually researched, because Spelman, they say that you have to schedule a tour 2 weeks in advance. And so we did a little research, but as far as Morehouse, they didn't have any protocol that we knew we had to go through. But thank you for that.
Yeah,
No problem.
you guys only go to the web. They keep direct everything. They will contact his department. They'll serve for these guys.
Oh yeah, because it was rain coming, so we were already on our good.
Yeah, we was trying to wrap it up because it's about to rain. But you know, but y'all, we got.
Trying to sneak over.
Nah, man. I only care, man. I only care, man.
We catch them all the time. If you sneak, you try to go through the gate. I'm called cars.
Change the command.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, Chief.
No harm. You know, we just get them, got to go through. But we get them.
All right.
Yeah, respect.
Y'all
Try fine.
I understand. We shut it down right now.
All right. Well, let's close it out.
Okay.
You know, Shalom. You know, we gonna continue the edification, probably outside. You know what I'm saying? Because we is in the spirit, but you know we gotta shut it down. You know, so yeah. So we gonna pick this up. You know, outside. Maybe we can walk. You know, walk out.
Yeah, probably off campus.
Yeah, off campus. We can just continue it in the spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Kakadash, Kabuana, Prophet, those that great millstones, to us is true. Salutation and honor to us, Sakim, about the forefront of belief and honesty, sincerity, charity, and sound doctrine. Shalom. Yo, what's the trick?
How you gonna cheat?
Nah. All right, brother. Y'all have a good night, all right? Y'all have a good day. All right.
That police in the ass. We got the guy. Let's get on the phone. Wait, it's cool. Stop.
We like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the elect. We left the other one. Now we're going. We at the burial site, and we're going to continue some more edification. This was Coretta Scott. This is Coretta Scott and Martin Luther King. You know, the actual tombstone. But we're gonna go out further right here. And, well, the principle.
Yeah, but I need another pair. Like I'm homeless and these are like real old. Got my sword.
Knowledge. So yeah, man, like the elder said, we had a mic and 3 and 11, right?
3, verse 11.
Right.
It says the heads thereof judge for reward.
Right. So it says what? The heads thereof judge for reward. So what? A lot of our people, you know, this is part 2 also of the one before. So it says what? The heads of our people, you know, they judge for reward, you know. So he was set up, man, you know, by the elite. You had what? Sigma Phi? What was it? Sigma Phi?
Sigma Pi Phi, that's the Black Boule 1910. That's the first fraternity.
And Boule is French for burnt. You know what I'm saying? Because the original elites, they didn't want no niggas in the Illuminati. So they set up their own version of the Illuminati with niggas like Webb Du Bois,
W.E.B.
W.E.B. Du Bois, you know, Martin Luther Coon, and all these different dudes, you know, they had set up to be part of the Boule, which is like lesser luminaries of the actual Illuminati.
And if I may, that word Boule also means advisor to the king, because they get these sororities and these fraternities to go into these all-black institutions and come back and bring information to the king, which is Esau. You know, they controlled opposition in a lot of ways. Our people look at them as representing our interests, but truthfully, they represent the interests of the people that put them in the positions they're in.
Trying to add on what you said, what was there? Informer to the king?
Advisor to the king.
Exactly. So that's like you got in the presidents in the White House. A lot of times you have the Jake advisor, that's the president's right-hand man, to give him like different ideas and all that. And on the lower level with this Martin Luther Coon dude, he was advising them niggas, because he was in the White House, man.
Right.
You know, and telling them, yo, if you get Jake to do this, just calm down, just put me in front of him.
That's right.
And he did all that shit for what? To sell out filthy Lucas sickness. To get that image, to make him seem like he's that holy man, so to speak.
Right, the new Moses.
Yeah, but he was basically a piece of shit, just like his bosses, man.
That's right.
He wanted to live the lifestyle of his bosses in that time, but now it's the time of exposure, man. You know?
Give me Ezekiel 33. Micah 3:11. Yeah, it's more.
All right, just finishing this up. This is Micah chapter 3, verse 11. It says, the heads thereof judge for reward.
Yeah, and the heads thereof is what? All of these, like they got the 501c3. They making judgment based upon the reward of the state. And the state is ran by who? The elites, man. So what? They said the heads thereof judge for reward, meaning they getting rewarded for tax-free money. They not judging for the reward of the kingdom. They judging for the carnal rewards on this side, man. You know?
Filthy lucre.
For filthy lucre's sake, right?
It says, and the priest thereof teach for hire.
Yeah, and the priest. You know what I'm saying? He was what? A so-called priest, a pastor. You know what I'm saying?
Son of a preacher man.
A son of a preacher man. You know? SOAP, soap.
And yo,
I mean,
it said he was a priest. It said they preacher for hire, right?
You want to make some money? Yeah. Hey, sit the bike down and record us.
He said a priest for hire, right? You know, so when you hire, when like these priests,
Just listen one second.
when they hire, like a priest get hired, right?
Make sure that we lock all three of them.
Their whole purpose is for that money, man. Watch your hand for the it says their whole purpose is for that money, man. All right. So they'll do anything for the money. You got TD Snakes, man. You know, you got him. What is he, man? He's all about that money. You know, you got dudes like Tyler Perry. That's all down in this area. And all they do is, what's the name of that song with Jada and man, I was gonna say never about the money, but with them dudes, it's all about the money, man. So they twist doctrines up, high shit and all that to keep you from knowing who you are, man. You know? But continuing on, it says, in the prophets thereof divine for money.
Yeah, so all your prophets, this is giving what? False prophecy. He said, what Martin Luther Coon said, what he said was what? I seen, I had a dream, which basically what is a prophecy that what all of our people was gathered together in one coalition. But when you read into the scriptures, the so-called white man is our arch enemy. You know what I'm saying? And he hate our guts. You know what I'm saying? That goes back to Jacob and Esau, man. And no matter how much our people love these crackers, they'll always stab us in the back.
Right.
Because the Lord put division between us and the serpent. So that was a false dream that he had. You know what I'm saying? Give me that. All right, give me
This
that
is
right
Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if this people of the land take a man of their coast, and set him for their watchman.
Right.
If when he seeth the sword come upon the land,
Right, because we telling you the sword coming. We telling you what race wars is coming. We telling you martial law is coming.
Right.
We telling you nuclear destruction is coming. You know, we telling you what the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip. That's here. All that's really here, but the Lord is going to turn up the notch. So he said, when he sees the sword coming, read on.
if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he bloweth the trumpet and warned the people. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
Right, because we one of the people telling them, you know, that what their blood gonna be upon their own head. But people still feel as though what? The Dr. King dream is alive. That was all bullshit. And then who you say who wrote that dream?
Stanley Livingston, a rat Jew.
Yeah, a so-called Jew, a so-called white man wrote that speech out for him, man.
Damn.
Because what? All throughout, prior to the 50s and the 20s, it was all about what? Segregation.
Right.
But when it's time for them to push their new world order, they want everybody to be joined together. Like when you watch commercials, you know, before the 50s and all that, in the 50s you saw who what? White babies. You know what I'm saying? You saw Edomite babies, you saw so-called white people all on the commercials. You wouldn't see Negroes on the commercials. But now that it's time for the new world order and everything to be joined together in the same mind and everything to be joined together in the same judgment, everything to be joined together in the same mind and the same judgment, they want to push everybody together. Now you watch a Johnson & Johnson commercial, you got what? The black baby, you got the Mexican baby, you got the Chinese baby, and you got the so-called Edomite baby. Because what? Now it's time for a new world order. Now it's time for everything universal. Unit means one and versal means to turn. Now they trying to turn everything into one. Now is what? Oh, everybody, that was the past. You know, that's old. But you know, now that it's time, but the Lord, he believe in what? Segregation and being a separate. Just read that.
This is 33:4, reading on. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. Continuing. He heard the sound of the trumpet. Reading on. And took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul.
Right, so there you go. But a lot of our people not taking warning because they're being pacified by this bullshit, man. You know, Martin Luther King, he wasn't a righteous man. He was bought for and paid and set up. He was controlled, man, and that's what people don't know. Real leaders, you don't see them. A real leader was like a guy like Fred Hampton from the Black Panthers. Now, his doctrine was off, but he was sincere. They actually killed him. They killed Martin because he got rebellious. That's why they start talking that I seen the mountaintop, because he knew they was gonna kill him, man.
Right.
You know, because he went against the grain. He said, well, I think I led my people into a burning building. When, you know, responding to Harry Belafonte.
If I may, the scriptures say, let your yea be yea and let your nay be nay. We're not supposed to make any oath or make any covenant with anything outside of the scripture. Martin Luther King, when he was in college, to get into that fraternity, he had to make an oath that he would be loyal to that frat, not to his nation or to his people. So once he started to go against the grain and like go rogue, so to speak, you know, blood in, blood out. That's the penalty he had to pay.
Brotherhood.
Going against these brotherhoods. These fraternities, they take this shit on their skin.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They call themselves Greeks.
And these same Greeks, guess what? In
Hey,
the old
hey,
Greek.
that's heavy though. That's going back into what the Israelite foreigners, because what a lot of the Israelite foreigners, they was the Hellenists, you know, or the Hellenistas,
Greek-speaking
which
Jews.
was actually Israelites. You know what I'm saying? And our people because really all these fraternities and sororities, who really dominate that shit? Niggas. You know what I'm saying? Our people really make that shit, especially down here in Atlanta. Our people make that shit pop, man. These sororities and fraternities. Even Nike, that's a Greek guy. Who really made Nike pop and all that? Jake. What dude got? Nah, we busy, bro. What dude got a little that got Nike popping like that? Jordan, man. So Jake, so that show you that even today now, Jake is there all into that Greek, because the fraternity, that's Greek letter shit. You know, so even today, Jake is all into that Greek shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's going even back then, during the Israelite foreigners, I mean, Timothy's father was a Greek and all that. All that was Jake, man. You know, ain't nothing new under the sun.
And if I may add on to the point that Bubba was saying, like they tatted on their arms, they actually brand that shit on, but they actually have a rope on their arm, like when you brand something, that's saying you belong to that certain thing, right? Yeah, so they branding that Greek stuff on them, that's saying they belong to what? Esau, man.
And that's a spiritual hope, a spiritual connection.
But I got a precept to back up to what the elder was saying about one of Martin Luther King's favorite, his most famous speeches was a "I Have a Dream" speech. And that's the speech that got his ass smoked, man. All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 1. It says, "If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass whereof he spake unto thee, saying, Let us go after other gods which thou hast not known, and let us serve them." All right, so Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King was saying, yo, let us join hand in hand with what our enemy, the same people that brought you over here on cargo slave ships, and them people ain't love you. We were brought over here to serve hardcore slavery. Why? Because we turned our back on the Most High, which his name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shah. Right? So check it out. It says, "Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams." And it says dreamer of dreams, where he kept saying he has a dream, right? It says, "For the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, your power, proveth you to know whether you love the word, whether you love Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, your power, with all your heart and with all your soul. Ye shall walk after Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua power, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey the voice, and obey his voice, and you shall serve him, and cleave unto him." And verse 5, it says, "And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he hath spoken to turn you away from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, and thrust thee out of the way which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, our power, commanded thee to walk in, so shall ye put the evil away from the midst of thee." Right. So it said that prophet shall be put to death. That's verse 5.
Jump to 8.
Sorry, verse 8. It says, this is Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 8. It says, "Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him."
That's Deuteronomy, Ezekiel. All right. Ezekiel 13, read that.
This quick precept. This second Maccabees chapter 4, verse 14, it reads, "That the priest had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowances in the place of exercise, after the game of discus called them forth. Proceeding, not setting by the honor of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all."
Right, see, so our people want to follow the ways of their forefathers. They went into the ways of the Greeks. And that's where you get the word degenerate from. You know what I'm saying? Get that in Jeremiah 2, when he said, "Thou hast became a degenerate when?" Yeah, I think it's 2 or 26. But it says what? Our people have become a degenerate plant. Now, and a strange vine. And when you go into that word strange, it's God. You know? Well, it's in the car to show you like they actually became like actual heathen, you know. Two and I think it's 2 and 20 something. Right here, 21.
This is Jeremiah 2, verse 21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine.
Yeah, the Lord planted us a noble people, a holy and righteous people. Read on.
A holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant?
Yeah, our people become a bunch of degenerates. They faggots and lesbians now. You know what I'm saying? These niggas got their pants hanging off their ass.
Right.
I mean, they got their hair purple.
Shredded up.
They got dreads and shit in their hair. They got bald heads and shit, man.
And if I may,
They got mohawks, you know what I'm saying? They got tattoos all over their fucking body, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So the Lord said you become a degenerate. And when you go into the word degenerate, D means against. Like if you say I'm gonna defrost something, meaning you're going about to stop it from freezing. If you say you about to degrade somebody, you about to drop their reputation. If you say I'm about to demote you, you mean that you about to bring them down from their status that they are. You know what I mean? So D is a prefix meaning against, and generate come from the word gene. And who carries the gene? Your forefather, the father carried the gene. So when you go in the word degenerate, that means one who's against his, one who goes against his ancestral ways. You know what I'm saying? So these niggas, Esau, like these devils, they're not degenerate. Why? Because they doing the bidding of what they forefathers. Good.
You were just speaking on degenerate.
Yeah, degenerate. You know what I'm saying? So Esau, he's not. Esau is not a degenerate. The way for Esau and these heathens to be a degenerate, well, Moab is. You know what I'm saying? Because now they follow a lot of Babylonian ways and customs. But in order for Esau to be a degenerate, he would have to stop being a devil, which he's not going to start doing. But our people is degenerates because King David wasn't a homo. You know what I'm saying? He didn't dye his hair blonde. He didn't eat shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster. You know what I'm saying? The ways of the scriptures, our people are going against their ancestral ways. That's what the word, because a lot of people think the word degenerate just means a scumbag. It doesn't mean that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're a degenerate. It doesn't mean that. The word degenerate means one who goes against his ancestral ways, the ways of his forefathers. And that's you niggas all day, man.
Be back generation away from your kind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you look back in the 1800s, we were mighty men. We fallen great, and people think because of Esau's technology and his misconditioning, his education, that we are smarter, that we're better. When the children of Israel, we are the worst condition that we've ever been in because we've fallen away from the law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, that's how much integrity we had. Because you got the story about the 7 brothers in M.L.K. when they got put to death because they want to touch pig's flesh, man. You know, they want to touch a pig's flesh, so they chose to be put to death. You know, so but our people now, they quick to say I want pork on my fork and all that, which is going completely against the scriptures, man. I'm gonna bring out
that 13 and 8. Yeah, because we flowing in the spirit, but we still getting our heart.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 13, verse 8. It says, "Therefore, thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahweh power, because ye have spoken vanity and seen lies. Therefore, behold, I am against you, saith Yahweh Bashim Yahweh power."
We'll go to seduce my people, saying there was peace and there was no peace. Give me Ezekiel 7:25, Bible for Sean. Yeah, it's like 6.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25, and it reads, "Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none."
Right, we're not living in a peaceful time, man. You see everything going on with Trump? Destruction is here. This thing about to break out in the nuclear war, man. You know, people, see, the average American is just living in a little bubble. You know, going to school, going to work, paying bills. But then once they talking about World War III with Iran. And when this war kick off, a whole lot of people gonna die, man. That's why the Lord said what? The day of the Lord shall come like a thief in the night. Because what? Everybody is, like, you got this bullshit ass, what is this? Like a
memorial.
A memorial, man. You know? But the real memorial, the real to Zion is the scriptures, man. It's the nation of Israel, is Mount Zion. This whole Martin Luther King setup is put here to pacify the people, man.
Right.
He was a coon set up to pacify our people because what, in the 60s, our people was rebelling against oppression.
Yep.
So they sent his coon ass in to calm our people down, man. And he was bought and paid for, man. Real leaders, you don't see them on TV, man.
Nope.
Real leaders get assassinated. We the real leaders, man.
Right.
You know? See, he couldn't take that.
Yeah, he had to do.
You know, so
all right, I got it.
he was trying to eavesdrop. See, the truth not for everybody, man.
The wicked flee with no
No man
man
pursued.
pursued.
See, he wanted to listen when we was dropping. And all of our people not many. Because he could have came up and said what he said, right? But he tried to eavesdrop, but that truth was coming. He had to get up out of there, man. You know? But what the we gonna take care? We gonna exit. The water. I'm finished. You got
All right, yeah. This is Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 10. It says, because they have seduced my people, saying peace, and there was no peace.
Yeah, and that's what Martin Luther King did. He came to pacify. And when you check it out, a pacifist, or you got something called a pacifier. Now, when you got a baby, and you want him to shut up, you don't want the mother don't feel like breastfeeding him. You get a pacifier. Now, a pacifier is a fake nipple to make the baby think he's sucking on milk. But even when you give a baby a pacifier, he spit it out or he throw it at you because he like, yo, you bamboozled me for 2-3 hours thinking I was sucking on this thing. Ain't no milk come out of this shit.
Kind of like a placebo.
While you was running around watching TV, talking to your boyfriend, smoking a cigarette, you had this pacifier in my mouth thinking I was about to get some milk out of this shit. So he'll spit it out. Like, fuck you, man. You know what I'm saying? Give me some milk. He'll start crying. You'll pick it up, rinse it off, and try to give it to him again. He'll probably take it and throw it at you. You know what I'm saying? Because what? You tried to pacify him. You tried to be a pacifist. And that's what Martin Luther King was. He was that fucking pacifier that was stuck in our people's mouth to feel like they was about to receive some hope or some justice, man.
And if I may, he wasn't even like the pacifier don't give out milk. And he got milk in the scriptures and meat in the scriptures. He wasn't even giving you milk, man.
Because what? The word pastor means what? One, they come from the word pasture, which is the sheep feed off of the grass, the pasture. So if you say I'm the pastor, you saying I'm the one that's leading the sheep to the green grass, to the vegetation. But these preachers today, these so-called pastors, they're not leading the sheep to the green pastures. They leading the sheep to that pork, to that swine. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he said they have deceived my people. Finish that up.
This is Ezekiel chapter 13 and 10. It says, because they have seduced my people, saying peace, and there was no peace.
Yeah, they had seduced them. And what you do when you seduce somebody, you try to you rub them and merge them in a way that they don't want to do. Now, I mean, when you look up the word seduction or the seduce, you trying to con them. You trying to sway them in a way. You got the blue letter? It's best to grab it in the blue letter. You know, when you ask my soul, you know, that's good.
Yeah. This is Proverbs 12 and 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them.
Yeah, and that's heavy, man. Because what? We are more excellent than these devils, man. Than these crackers. But what? Their ways seduceth a lot of our people, because a lot of our people is poor. They don't have much. So what they do is they come with that money and they get them to sell out and bow down and go according to their agenda. Like a lot of these people in Hollywood and these celebrities, man.
So the word there for back in Ezekiel 13 and 10, the word seduce is the ark, which is to wander astray, to seduce, to cause to go astray.
Right, to cause to go astray. Grab it in the Webster. Yeah, because that probably hit it. Yeah.
And you were just saying yesterday, Mayaka Allah, you were saying how the elite believe that all Israel have a price.
That's
right?
right. Yeah,
Because they feel like at a certain point we so oppressed, we so downtrodden that they can seduce us into following their ways, be it money, be it positions, be it making a covenant.
It's a saying in the world. Say you got a old Mustang, 1965 Mustang, hardback. Yeah, everything original. You got people that'll walk up to you like, you want to sell that? You'll tell them this not for sale.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, no, every man has a price.
Make an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah. He'd be like, look, I'll give you 5, 10 times what it worth.
Right.
But you got some people like, look, my dad gave me this car, it's not for sale. And somebody be like, yo, I'll give you $1 billion for that car. It's not, did you hear me, motherfucker? It's not for sale. And that's us with our souls, man. The real men of the Lord, our souls is not for sale, man. You know what I'm saying? Because Esau keep throwing numbers at you. Because they think the higher they go, the more they can break.
Especially if you're an Israelite.
Yeah, but listen, man, our soul's not for sale. You know what I'm saying?
The elect, hopefully elect.
Right.
Yo, if I
So-
may, I was going to add on to the point. Like the song that Jay-Z said back in the day, he was like, you see what a small room would do for you? So he's saying like he had a small room, you know what I'm saying? And he sold the fuck out the child. He basically said he grinded to get to where he's at. But basically when they say they be like, I'll get it by any means. That's what Meek Mill says. So any means mean you'll do whatever you gotta do to get that money, man.
Right. Mama.
Yeah, correct.
And now,
But this was in the
Webster.
yeah, the Webster's Dictionary, dictionary.com. The word for seduce is to lead astray, as from duty, restitude, or the like, corrupt, to persuade or induce to have sexual intercourse, to lead or draw away as from principles, faith, or allegiance.
Right, because
That's it.
we was rising up against these devils in the 60s. And they ain't like that. So they send a pacifier in there. You know what I'm saying? To throw that pacifier in our mouth. You know what I'm saying? But now the Lord rising us back up. You know what I'm saying? So read that again.
All right,
Because I
this is,
want to make a point.
This is Ezekiel chapter 13 and 10. It says, because they have seduced my people, saying peace, and there was no peace.
Right, they were saying peace and there was no peace.
Right.
Read on.
And one built up a wall. And
Nah, that's it. But that's what Martin Luther King did. He said, what, peace, and there was no peace. And check it out. The Lord, out of all that non-violent shit he was talking, give me Revelation 18:21. America was built on violence, and it's going to go down by violence. You reap what you sow. You think America going to have a peaceful end? It ain't going to have a peaceful end. The Lord is going to scorch this damn place. It's going to have so much turmoil and shit going on here. You know? Give me that 18 and 21.
Son, this is Revelation chapter 18, verse 21, and it reads, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down.
Yeah, America's going to be thrown down with violence, man. It was built on violence. It was ran by violence. All it did was promote violence. And when this place go down, it's going to go down by violence.
And if
You
I
know what I'm
may,
saying? But this Martin Luther King dream bullshit, that's not relevant, man. He was a false prophet. And when you check out Martin Luther King, every city got a Martin. And how he died? He died by violence. His wife died by violence. And every city got a Martin Luther King. I'm from North New Jersey. The Martin Luther King out there is a fucking hellhole, man. Out in Oakland, they got a Martin Luther King. That shit is a shithole, man. And that's where all the bodies happen at. That's where all the drugs is at. That's where niggas get capped out at, man. Any street that's a Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Martin Luther King Highway, that shit is hell, man. So the Lord made mockery of that dude, man. All of that non-violent shit he spoke, right? He went out by violence. His wife went out by violence. And every boulevard and every city that was named after his ass is full of violence. Them be the hardest hoods. Right. Where you from, nigga? I'm from M.L.K. Oh, leave that nigga alone.
God. It says, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all.
Yeah, America's going to be wasted, man. It's going to never be inhabited again. They're going to shoot, they're going to poke this place with nuclear missiles, man. And we in the making of that. that now, but people just don't watch the news, man.
Right.
Trump is going to lead this country into the third world war with Russia, with Iran, with North Korea, and even America. Allies going to shoot missiles on this bitch, man.
Right.
All this shit that you see is going to be wasted, man.
Right.
So Martin Luther King was a big joke, man. The
Right.
Lord made mockery of that dude, man.
Right.
All these fake ass leaders and sellouts, man. Real leaders you're not going to see, but go ahead, bro.
This is First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Yeah, and that's what, because what? It's hard for our people. So what they do is they like, look, if we get down with these other nations, you know what I'm saying, and do this and that, you know, we could stop the oppression. You know, if I cut my beard off and bald my head, I could stop being oppressed. If I'm willing to throw my brother under the bus for a job position, I can stop the oppression. You know what I mean? And hey, that's why you got police on the police force. A lot of them on the police force, you got to be willing to oppress your own people. That's why a lot of them cops, they be bald-headed, they be clean-shaved. And the worst police is your own fucking kind, because what? They got to show master that they willing to hang a nigga in order to stay on the police force. Let your ass be on the police force like, I'm for my people.
Right.
They gonna get rid of your ass, man. They gonna get rid of your ass. Yeah, I'm out here helping blacks and feeding the community. They gonna get rid of your ass, man.
Just like the so-called fraternities and sororities in these black colleges. You know, the same, that's the reason why they make that oath. What'll make a Jake brand something into his skin, right? Because he want a lighter affliction when he get out of college. He want a connection with one of his frat brothers at the dealership. He want a connection with one of his frat brothers that got a mortgage company. He understands that when he leaves college, he got to come out in this world, and Esau don't give a damn. So guess what? He thinks he's gonna get a lighter affliction by making a covenant with Kappa Psi Phi. You know what I'm saying? They call themselves the Divine Nine. You know what I'm saying? With Sigma Pi Phi being the first, but you got 4 sororities and you got 4 fraternities. And guess what? These are Israelites that are following the ways of the Greeks, making a covenant just so then when they come out here in the world, you know, they think that they'll be able to escape the tentacles of Esau.
They were like, yo, we brothers for life.
Hey, hold that right quick. Could you get glass ceiling definition? Because the ad right on what you said, our people don't know it's something called the glass ceiling. Yeah, just put glass ceiling definition on the book. No, you put on that. When you go into the glass ceiling, the definition of glass ceiling, and that's what our people don't understand. So you know, the brother, he's about to pull it out. You know, I don't want to spoil the alert. You know, I'm gonna bring that something.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 23. This is Deuteronomy.
Read it again.
This is the definition of glass ceiling.
Right.
It says an unofficially acknowledged barrier to advancement in a profession, especially affecting women and members of minorities.
Yeah, the hell with that. The women, that's bullshit, but the minorities, which is who? The Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Well, they term for the Israelites, really be the majority. Right. But it says what? Read it again.
It says unofficially acknowledged barrier.
A barrier, meaning what? It's only so high you could climb in this to society.
That's right.
Now, maybe you could work on a garbage truck. Maybe you could own a little small business. But if you really want that shit to start booming or you start making some money, you're going to hit your head on, because you know it's a glass ceiling. You can't see it. So you keep climbing and climbing and climbing until you ram your motherfucking head into the ceiling. And you find out, oh shit, I can't go up no further. You know, until you have to what? Until you have to sell your soul, until you have to sell out. And even if you start to prosper in this society too much, what happened? The so-called Jew approached him.
Yep.
Right.
And he'd be like, look, sell me your business. If you don't sell me your business, he find a way to hang you. He try to find a way to talk to politicians to get you out the way.
Shut you down.
They try to shut you down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want you making too much money without selling out. They don't want you to be self-sufficient. They don't want you to be sovereign. So that's the glass ceiling, man. Like the brother was saying, they want to get out of these schools and go into the world and try to find ways to climb up. But that sorority not going to get you past the glass ceiling. What's going to get you past the glass ceiling is getting fucked in the ass. What's going to get you past the glass ceiling is sacrificing a baby to M.L.K. What's going to get you past the glass ceiling is drinking blood. What's going to get you past the glass ceiling is drinking sperm. Eating shit, being a homo, sleeping with a dead body, necromancy. That's what's going to get you past the glass ceiling, man.
Tattooing your body with a hot iron.
It says to advancement in a profession, especially affecting women and members of minorities.
Yeah. So in this society, it's a glass ceiling for us. It's only so far you could go without having to sell out.
So if you think about that glass ceiling, the glass is see-through. And guess what though? The elect are going to see through that shit. They ain't going to fall through that. And anyway, it's a glass because eventually everybody's going to be able to see through it. You know, like right now, everything's getting exposed, man. You know?
This is Exodus 23 and verse 32. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods.
Right, right. That's what they did.
Yeah, and that's exactly, you know, First Maccabees 1 and 11, it said, the elders and the leaders of Israel in the time that we were in Greek captivity, they made a covenant with the heathen, and they told the people, guess what, we catching hell. And that's the story of Israel. You know, the Heavenly Father delivers us, and then guess what? We go against the Heavenly Father's law, statutes, and commandments, or go whoring after the heathens that are round about us, and we get brought low. That's why Exodus says, thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their God. The scriptures command that the Israelites be ye separate, be to ourselves, right? Because guess what? When we deal with these heathens, we get defiled. And that seduction that the brother was speaking about. They understand that we are righteous and a holy people.
And that means to be separate. The word holy means to be separate.
Set apart.
I was about to say that. I was about to say that. Y'all been done with that? All right, I got this precept. This is 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. It says, but there was false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua that bought them, and bring up on themselves swift destruction. So what did Martin Luther King do? He brought upon himself swift destruction, man. Because he was bringing in damnable heresies that was not of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And he was teaching them what? The name of Jesus, man. And telling our people, yo, be cool with your enemy. If they bust you in the head with a brick, it's cool, man. You know, when our ancestors, we were warriors, man. You know, we wasn't going for all that. You know, look at the Maccabees. They were valiant men. They wasn't letting, look at King David, man. You know, all our ancestors, what they wanted to do, dumb us down, weaken us, so that they could basically control you, so to speak. Not so to speak, but control you, man. But hold on, that's a little more. It says, verse 2 says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with framed words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not, man. And look, we right here in front of what? Martin Luther King's grave, man. Where his body's actually at, man. And his wife, man. You know? So for all that, and yo, his wife was actually older than him, man. When we was looking at the dates and all that. So all those heresies and that he brought out and all that, what that got him sitting right behind us right now, man. You know, that was it.
A quick precept. This is 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Give me Matthew 25:32. It says, wherefore come from amongst them and be ye separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So the Lord said, what? Be separate from these nations. And throughout history, when our people separated ourselves from the other nations, we prospered. Look at Black Wall Street. Look at the Black Belt in Chicago. Look at Rosewood. You know what I'm saying? So our people, we prosper when we stick to ourselves. You know? But when we deal and fuck with the other nations, our people get fucked up. But the Lord said, wherefore come out from amongst them and be ye separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So the Lord is a separatist, man. He's not with everybody getting together in one spirit like this cool nigga Martin Luther King is talking about.
Just take one step back.
They got this. You good? You going to sleep? You with us?
I'm trying to stay with you. All right, thank you. Son, I got a quick precept. This is Proverbs 3 and 31. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways.
There you go. And so what Martin Luther performed there, he was envying his oppressor. And he chose all his ways. Why? Because he wanted to live just like them, man. And that's what our people want to do. They can't take the punishment given to us by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, man.
And that's what you call being a man.
That's right, man.
You know what I'm saying? A man will live up to what his false son.
Serve out his sentence.
Yeah, that's why niggas trying to hustle out of captivity. Right. They trying to rob banks and all that. Why? Because they can't live with the judgment that the Lord put on them. And to the Lord freedom. You can't deal with your punishment, that's the spirit of Cain. You are of your father the devil, man. You niggas is weak, man. It's like, yo, but the men of the Lord is like, okay, the Lord judges, we went off. I gotta work this shitty ass job and deal with this shit till the Lord free me, fine. I'ma live with that, and that's what it is. A nigga be like, nah, I can't live with $8, $10, $12 an hour. I ain't gonna struggle. I'ma rob, I'ma steal, I'ma sell drugs, I'ma wiggle my way up out of this hole the Lord put me in. And what happened with them niggas? They wound up in a deeper hole. They wound up in jail doing 30, 40 years. They wound up in the ditch. They kids that they was trying to provide a beautiful life for, they turned to be faggot sluts and whores, man. So the Lord bring deeper judgment on them. Why? Because you couldn't be a man and live up to the conditions of your punishment and accept it.
If you look at Cain killed his brother Abel. And when the Most High put that judgment on him, you know what I'm saying, you'll be cursed. You know what I'm saying, you'll have his mark put upon you. He said, this punishment is too much for me to bear. After you just killed your brother.
That's right.
Right? That's the spirit of Cain.
That's right, man.
You know, don't want to serve out your sentence.
Right. And that's the spirit of these niggas, man. They don't want to serve out their sins. They want to rub elbows with Esau, man. They trying to do crime and wiggle their way. They trying to do robberies and wiggle their way out of the hole the Lord put them in.
This is Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26.
Right.
And ye shall be holy unto me, for I am the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people.
Right. See, he has severed us, separated us from other people, man.
So segregation actually wasn't a bad thing, man. You know, that was actually a great thing, because if you really look into it, the Lord separated all the nations on the earth, man. You know, he gave them this land, y'all do that, y'all do this, that. You know, he separated all the nations, gave them their land and all that, and he gave his people his what? Law, statutes, and commandments. He didn't give it to everybody, man.
And if I may, we were just speaking about Auburn Avenue. It's a historic street that's here in Atlanta that used to be a hub for so-called blacks during segregation. And you know, everyone knows why those Jews are so successful and they become a power on the earth is because they use the Bible or they use the Talmud, the Kabbalah as a platform to not deal with other nations. So their dollars circulate within their communities overnight. They go to each other for their bread. They go to each other for their clothes. They go to each other for education. So guess what? Their dollar circulates in their community and they are rich. when our people are reckless consumers. Why? Because we don't want to gather together. We look at the ways of the heathen as to be most esteemed and preferred.
Yeah, but you know, ultimately, this is not our rest.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
read that 25, 32.
All right, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 32. It says, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another.
Let's talk about the coming of your, jump up on. Let's talk
All right.
about the coming of Yahweh Shai, man.
All right,
Because he's going to be a big ass melting pot like this mess when he come back. And he said he's going to separate them one from another and judge them. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is a separatist. Unlike this dude, damn faggot, Martin Luther King was saying. And you're going to find out Jesse Jackson set him up. And that was his butt boy, man.
David Abernathy as well.
Because look at that nigga still here, and he guilty as fuck.
And he profitable.
This is Matthew chapter 25, verse 31. It says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall he gather all nations.
And before him shall be gathered all nations, a big melting pot like it is now. Read on.
It says, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Right, so there you go, man. The Lord is a separatist. He's not, that's Old Testament and New Testament. Right. The Lord is not with segregation. I mean, integration. It's a lot. The Lord is not with integration, man.
This is Genesis chapter 10, verse 5, and it reads, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
Right. These are the isles of everyone, like the brother said. They was all put in their own lands, after their own tongue, after their own nation. You know, they did their thing, we did ours, man. Right. You know?
And then like
I close over again.
About 5 more minutes. You good.
so like so you nah, all right. What I was gonna say, like when even being as a young boy, when you hung around Edomites, but you know we call them white people then, you know, they would be the first one to try to introduce you to drugs and all that shit. And the crazy ass ideas and all that, man. You know? So like that's why it's not good. Like even back in the Garden of Eden, man, the Lord told us don't eat from what tree? That was the Edomites, man. Or back then, those people. We wasn't even supposed to deal with them, man. You know? But what Martin Luther King did, he wanted to bring us all together, man.
Pacified. And that was the whole setup of what? The whole New World Order.
This is Genesis, Deuteronomy 32 and 8, and it reads, when the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
That's right.
For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Right. So the Lord, what? He separated the people. And even you people today, you still try to get together, you still separate. The Lord separated Jacob and Esau. He said what? I will cause enmity between thy seed and the serpent seed, man. So even you niggas try to live amongst these crackers, they still wound up killing you. They still wound up shooting you. They still, they broke nigger on LeBron James' house.
They shot up Emmett Till's memorial.
Yeah. So no matter how much you try to merge with them and accept them, it's still segregation, man.
And
you go to their schools, they don't accept you. No matter if you try to go to their neighborhoods, they don't accept you, man.
And there was a incident where Edomite cop shot a J cop, an off-duty J cop, but he was a police officer and he killed him. You know.
This is Ezekiel 35 and 5, and it reads, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
That's right.
Hey, and it's crazy. It's heavy. The brother got on a pearl. You know what I'm saying? On his wrist. And what the pearls represents what? The word of the Lord. So it was meant for him to be here. Because we was originally trying to get the other Poppy dude on a bike. But he wound up going past it. And he walked up. But what he got on his wrist, he got the pearls and it's on his right hand side. Hey, get that on his wrist, bro.
Just 1 second.
word of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Bring that out one more time, out about the pearls.
how the pearls, the brother, you know, it just dropped on me. I'm like, damn, he got the pearls on his wrist because everything's spiritual. That means we called him up out of everybody that could have walked past. And he just happened to have the pearls on his wrist. So that shows you that everything is spiritual. The Lord had set up this, you know?
And kind of pearls are like in the knowledge. That's what the
No,
elders.
check this out, if I may.
And the pearls is the word.
Not to don't put on the camera, but that's a woman sitting over there.
That's
She got
right.
her hair cut right,
Right.
you know, and she got on the purple cover.
Right.
The purple represents what our people
Royalty.
in the royal, right?
Yeah,
Right.
You know?
yeah.
So the brother, you know.
Yeah, purple.
So that's like, he don't got just no average woman.
Hey, man,
and
the
she
Lord
over
have
there,
mercy on him. Have him be 1/3 or something.
you know, she actually over there sitting, chilling, not even drawing, like coming at us and shit.
Yeah, 'cause the average woman be done made all bunch, you know.
Okay.
But finish that. So, you know, the brother got to go. Matthew 7:6.
All right, this is the book of Matthew. How you doing? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 6. And it reads,
We could probably hold it. We about to leave, bro.
You know, I can hold it from here. You want to go ahead?
we got it.
We about to be a last
We gotta get some change.
We gonna get it.
We gotta get some change. All right, so this is the book of Matthew, chapter 7,
We about to check on it now.
Oh, you talking about?